Hi, Ed Zanetti. This goes to my friends over there in Africa and the Asia Pacific region. Global carbon market, the A6 UNFCCC COP27 and deforestation double counting. This is a warning. There are two calls taking place right now at the UNFCCC, and I'm sending you the link. For all organizations interested in the topic of atmospheric CO2 removals, they can express their views on the methodologies that will be accepted for the generation of carbon credits from the official market. It's an opportunity for organization in the agroforestry sector, in the forest sector, in the agriculture sector, in the academia, in short, for everyone to express themselves in order to influence the decision-making process. Also, another partners in the developing country, as Brazil is doing, around the globe, can jointly pursue low-carbon industrialization opportunities for our countries within those calls. The calls are for the requirements for the developing and evaluation of the methodologies that will be accepted in the mechanism related to those activities involved CO2 removals from the atmosphere. This is the Annex 5. And then also the removal activities that will be accepted into the Article 6.4. This is Annex 6. The mechanism in the Annex 6 will be the one that will regulate the official market, let's say. The International Initiative for the Development of Methodological Tools for the Article 6, the IEA-GHG, and the Carbon Watch are examples of institutions that already submitted their expression of interest to influence this decision making. And now I want to bring up the subject that it's mostly interest for us in the developing world. Something that we can use to help us have a low carbon industry in our countries. It is about the CDRs and the CDUs, right? The carbon dioxide usage and the carbon dioxide removals that we need to have accounted for within this framework, right? Not only forest plantations, not only increasing the stock, but also increasing productivity, having more carbon-basic products available for society. And this is a way also to avoid double counting. It is a double counting that has been occurring for over 20 or 30 years, especially in Brazil, when we assume deforestation of the whole biomass in an area, while in truth we have a very robust forest industry in our country that uses most of the wood. So if you account for that as an emission, then you will be double counting for this when you receive the wood. Double counting refers to a situation where two parties claim the same carbon removal or emissions reductions as a result of having counted greenhouse gas emissions or atmospheric CO2 removals from the same sources in both countries. In the accounting of the Brazilian agricultural, forestry, and other loose sectors until 2020, and after that we keep doing that, the wood forest products, the harvest wood products, was always excluded. Thus, there was an overestimation of greenhouse gas emissions from land use change activity. This overestimation is related to the accounting as a greenhouse gas emissions of all industrial and energy used in Brazil and exported to other countries. As a result, by claiming carbon credits for reducing greenhouse gas emissions from deforestation, the country was demanding payments for aerial and underground biomass that was being used to produce pulp, paper, sawn wood, and many other timber forest products, as if they had turned it into smoke. But that was not true. Likewise, both in Brazilian cities and in all around the globe that consumes timber forest products, The use and destination is being and was being and is being accounted again either as an atmospheric CO2 removal or as a greenhouse gas emissions reduction from the final destination. In these countries, technologies and processes that reduce greenhouse gas emissions and remove atmospheric CO2 through the use of industrial wood and also wood energy generate carbon credit benefits, generating a double count of greenhouse gas emissions associated with Brazilian industrial and energy wood that has been already accounted for. It is not that Brazil did not account for industrial and energy wood, but it did so as greenhouse gas emissions, which never existed. This fictitious deforestation generated mistaken public and private policies, besides an overall global behavior against Brazilians that is completely mistaken. Developed based on fictitious data and information, which generated greenhouse gas emissions that never existed, and still failed to account for the contribution of Brazilian wood to remove atmospheric CO2 and reduce greenhouse gas emissions in cities and countries that use our timber forest products. As we approach COP27, it is necessary to correct this double counting and begin to clearly demonstrate the relevant role that Brazilian industrial and energy wood has and will have even more in the removal of atmospheric CO2 and reduction of greenhouse gas emissions throughout the world. The Brazilian low-carbon forestry industry can contribute, and a lot, to solve the global climate problem related to the excess of atmospheric CO2. The 500 million hectares of Amazonian forest can produce easily 5 billion tons of CO2 per year in timber forest products, enough to meet the growth in world demand by 2050. Brazilian NDCs may include increased productivity and consumption of tropical industrial wood as a goal, generating a carbon positive country which removes the world's smoke and return it into wood products. So this is the main point here. Right now, institutions that are keen on the team, that are willing to have CDRs and CDUs accounted for in their countries, should submit this to the UNFCCC up to next Monday. On October the 11th, the call will be closed. So there is a short time to do that, and I hope this material contributes with this effort.